Just keep the door open for us, please.
As these officers arrived to see the Cromwell industrial estate in flames,
Nah, let's get out of here, mate.
what they did not know is this was an act of Russian espionage and foreign sabotage.
Fella, just stand back. Just stand back from there, mate.
We have increasingly seen some foreign states resorting to using criminal proxies or others to undertake their activity in the United Kingdom.
This fire was a targeted attack by London street gangs hired by Russian agents to carry out arson, attacks and kidnappings for pay.
So it's Cromwell Industrial Estate, E10.
This is the East London job where James Bond meets Top Boy. These were the gang leaders, Dylan Earl and Jake Reeves. The pair pleaded guilty to breaching the National Security Act and aggravated arson. These young men agreed to commit criminal acts in exchange for money, and the court heard how they scouted others to join them. Their first recruits were Ugnias Asmina and Kodjo Mensah. Mensah then recruited his friend Jakeem Rose. Then the much older Paul English was hired as their driver for a promised fee of £500. Once the team were in place on the 20th of March 2024, Mensah sent Earl a series of messages.
Ready to go whenever. I'm down for the cause, bro. I'll have this money, you get me?
That night, the men set off from South London to the East End. They arrived at Leighton's Cromwell Industrial Park near midnight. Rose and Mensah left from the rear doors. Their target, a Ukrainian-owned business that exports Starlink satellites to Ukraine. The hired hands approached, armed with petrol in a jerry can. But if this was meant to be a secret mission, these Gen Z arsonists toasted their attack by live streaming it. After lighting the building, they fled over a wall towards the getaway car. Today, 3 of those men were found guilty of aggravated arson. Only Paul English, the driver, was acquitted of wrongdoing. He had always denied knowledge of the plan. It had been Reeves and Earl who had been hired by Russian handlers from the Wagner Group, a proxy of the Kremlin. It was they who initiated Reeves and Earl to orchestrate a series of plots that ultimately led to 8 men being charged. Demetrius Polauskas in the top right corner was acquitted, but Ashton Evans in the bottom right convicted, both accused of failing to disclose Reeves' new plan. Over Messenger, Reeves told his friend Polauskas,
"Sending people to do a job tonight. 5k up front, 20 to 30k payment if done correctly, so I'll get 5k. Or I can get away more if I get the guy kidnapped. Get him sent back to Russia for imprisonment."
In the conversation, Polauskas says,
"Holy f***, so Wagner literally has UK gangs doing their work. Holy f***, that's so crazy. They probably paid others too. Therefore."
This was the target of Earl's next plot, a high-end wine shop and nearby restaurant, both owned by the billionaire Russian dissident Yevgeny Shishvakin. This recce of the Mayfair store was shown in court, as Earl and Reeves tried to find new recruits on behalf of the Wagner Group. This is how the private Russian military force is usually seen. The use of British amateurs is a shift from the deployment of professionals. In 2018, Russian spies were charged in absentia for the poisoning of Sergei and Yulia Skripal in Salisbury. This led to the expulsion of Russian intelligence professionals, making it harder for the Kremlin to hit enemies in the UK.
I like to think that we've made a hostile working environment here for the Russians and the Iranians and other foreign states that wish to do us harm, certainly since Salisbury in 2018. And so we're now seeing them resort to this criminal proxy model. But as you've seen in this case, we can match that threat and we'll continue to disrupt it where we see it.
The question now is, what does today's case tell us about the tactics of hostile states and the potential of their new strategy? Today, for several of the young men, money was the main motivation, but it was not the only driver. Both Earl and Reeves expressed support for Russia and anger towards the British government. This fire was ignited by more than the criminal pursuit of money. What fueled the ringleaders was deeper dissatisfaction. that foreign agents are targeting. Radicalisation has now opened a new frontier for asymmetric war. Young, nihilistic British men are open for business with Britain's enemies.